Good morning, Mananda. This is Andrew Gaurav from AC Department, Vignan Sverga. In last class, we have seen the different types of the Fourier series and their relationships. Today, we will see the properties of the Fourier series. The first property is the linearity property. That linearity property indicates if you take for an x of t, then the corresponding Fourier series coefficient as fxn, and if you take the y of n, then the corresponding Fourier series coefficient as y of f of yn. Then the linearity property states that that's a into x of t plus b into y of t. Then the corresponding Fourier series coefficient as a into f of xn plus b into f of yn. That is the statement. And we here will see the statements only, then laterwards we'll see the proofs also. Then the time shifting property for the given x of t whose Fourier series coefficient as fn, and the correspondingly the time shifted version x of t minus t naught, then the Fourier series coefficient will be given as an exponential term will be added to the fn, that's e power minus j n omega naught t naught into fn. That is the time shifting property. E power minus j n omega naught t naught, that exponential term will be added to the corresponding fn, where fn is the Fourier series coefficient of the x of t. Next, the frequency shifting property. In the frequency shifting property, first the x of t whose Fourier series coefficient as fn, then the frequency shifting property states that when we multiply an exponential signal, that's e power j n omega naught t naught x of t as the Fourier series coefficient, then the shifted version will be given as f of n minus n naught, where f of n is the original Fourier series coefficient. Now the f of n minus n naught represent the frequency shifted property, that is f of n minus n naught is the frequency shifted one. Then the time reversal property. In the time reversal property, the x of t whose Fourier series coefficient as fn, then the time reversal property states that x of minus t represent the Fourier series coefficient, x of minus t, then the corresponding Fourier series coefficient as f of minus n. Then the time scaling property. In the time scaling property, x of t whose Fourier series coefficient as fn. Next, then the time scaling property states that x of at represent the Fourier series coefficient, then the Fourier series coefficient as fn. Then the time scaling property changes the frequency component from omega naught to a omega naught. Then the time scaling property changes the frequency from the initial value of omega naught to the a omega naught. Next one is the differentiation and the integration properties. We'll combinedly study this differentiation and the integration properties. If for the x of t whose Fourier series coefficient as fn, then the differentiation property states that's dx of t by dt, then the Fourier series coefficient as jn omega naught into fn. Then the integration property states that integral of x of t dt, then the Fourier series coefficient as fn by jn omega naught. That's fn by the corresponding jn omega naught. When we divide by the jn omega naught, it is a coefficient of the integration property. When we multiply the jn omega naught to the fn, then it is called as the differentiation properties. Next one, the multiplication and the convolution properties. If the x of t, then the Fourier series coefficient as fxn, and y of t, then the Fourier series coefficient as fin. Then the multiplication property states that x of t and y of t, the whose Fourier series coefficient will be equal to, it is a convolution between the corresponding coefficients, that is fx1 convolution with the fin. Similarly, when we take the x of t convolution with the y of t, then the Fourier series coefficient will be given as t into fxn into fin. Fxn and fin will be the multiplication of their corresponding coefficients. Then x of t and convolution with the y of t, which represents convolution in time domain will be equal to multiplication in the frequency domain, that is in the convolution property. Whereas in multiplication property, multiplication in the time domain will lead to the convolution of the corresponding coefficients. That's t into fxn convolution with the fin. Next one has the conjugation and the conjugate symmetry. In the conjugate and the conjugate symmetry, if the x of t whose Fourier series coefficient has fn, then the conjugate property states that x star of t whose Fourier series coefficient has f star of n, and the conjugate symmetry property for the real value time signals will be given as f star of n is equal to f of minus n, and in the imaginary value time value signal states that f star of n is equal to minus f of minus n. F star of n is equal to minus f of minus n, where the f star of n is equal to minus f of minus n, where the f star of n is equal to f of minus n for the real value signals. For the imaginary value signal, that f star of n is equal to minus f of minus n. That is the conjugate symmetry. Now coming to the Dirichlet condition. Dirichlet conditions is the conditions which are to be the necessary and the sufficient conditions for stating the particular signal whose Fourier for the existence of the Fourier series. That means for the existence of the Fourier series, a particular function should satisfy these Dirichlet conditions. What does that mean? If, for example, if you take an f of t, which we need to represent in terms of the Fourier series, then it must satisfy these Dirichlet conditions. What are those Dirichlet conditions? Is first, the function f of t has a finite number of maximum and the minimum. Next one, there must be a finite number of discontinuities in the signal f of t in a given interval of time. And the third one, it must be absolutely integrable in the given interval of time, that is, which is being given as integral of f of t mod of f of t dt will be less than infinity. That is the Dirichlet conditions. When these three conditions are being satisfied, the first one is it should have the finite maximums and minimums. That means a finite maximum amplitude should be present and the finite minimum amplitude should be present. And it should have the finite number of discontinuities. That means there should be some zeros should be present at one of the particular places. Then it is called the finite number of discontinuities should be present. And it must be absolutely integrable. It must be absolutely integrable. That means its integration value should be a finite value. Finite value, that means less than infinity. Hence it is said to be as when these three conditions are satisfied, then the Fourier series will said to be existed. Similarly, the complex Fourier spectrum. In the complex Fourier spectrum, we'll plot the Fourier coefficients with respect to the frequency. That is, the figure 1 shows the trigonometric Fourier coefficients with respect to the frequency, and the figure 2 shows the exponential Fourier coefficients with respect to the frequency. The first one indicates on y-axis we take the mod of Cn, which is with respect to the frequency. That means at the f is equal to 0, we have the C0 as constant. At f is equal to f0, we have C1. At f is equal to 2 f0, we have C2. At f is equal to 3 f0, we have C3, and so on. At f is equal to n f0, we have Cn, and so on. Similarly, here also, that is in the exponential part also, we have the positive as well as in the negative cases. That is the plotting of the complex Fourier spectrum.